5 reasons I would never go on a Disney cruise. Not ever, not even if you paid me. Spoiler alert, I booked a cruise. I know I said I would never do it. So as means of an apology, I thought it would be really funny to revisit my video from last year where I said that I would never go on a cruise. I don't want to make you wait till the end, so I will tell you that the cruise that I booked is an Alaska cruise on Princess Cruises. I'm so excited. I can't wait. It is a 7-night cruise that leaves out of Vancouver, Canada, travels up through Alaska, comes back down, and returns into the port of Seattle, Washington. So I feel like I made a really good choice for my first cruise, and let's have some fun with this old video. Reason number 1. They trap your body. Literally. You are in a finite amount of space. You're on a ship. You can't leave the ship. If you wanted to go somewhere else, too bad. So point number 1 is that you're trapped. And when I look at it that way, yeah, it doesn't sound great. But after I made this video, I started thinking, where else do I vacation where I just kind of stay in one place? And the answer was Las Vegas. I love going to Las Vegas. And how I do that is I pick a resort and I stay there. Because I'll visit Las Vegas numerous times during the season, I don't actually leave my resort on each trip. I tend to pick a resort where I'm going to eat at, where I'm going to watch the shows at, where I'm going to shop at, where I'm going to go to the pool at. So when I realized that I could look at a cruise ship like I do a Las Vegas resort, it changed everything for me. I realized that I might absolutely love staying in one place. So not only are you trapped on this ship, but you have a relatively small stateroom or hotel room, comped. If you were staying at a hotel on land, you'd be in a hotel room. You're in the cruise, you're in a stateroom. They're relatively small. The bathrooms are tiny. So this point is 100% true. The bathrooms on cruise ships, from what I've seen from doing research, are very small. And I'm not super excited about that. But to go back to my Vegas idea, sometimes when I'm in Vegas and I want a little more room, I will use the bathrooms at the gym/spa. And the showers are huge. And the vanities are huge. And you have so much room. And you can take your time. And you can get ready. And it's already included in your resort fee. So why wouldn't I apply that to a cruise? I can. So that was a great solution for this problem. We also saw during the pandemic, you could really be trapped. I mean, what would happen if another breakout happened on the ship? So this point is still a fear of mine. 100% still scared that if an outbreak happened, another virus happened, that I would be trapped on the ship like the people were, during the 2020 cruise pandemic. It does scare me. But I've decided I'm not going to let that fear stop me. I may actually end up loving cruising. From all the research that I've done and the mind shift that I've had, I'm really excited. And I would hate to miss out on something that I could love for years to come because I was scared. Number 2, trapped your mind. What do I mean by that? Do I mean like hypnosis? No, I don't mean that. I mean they've trapped your choices. They've trapped your freedom. So there's lots of things here that I mean by that. Number 1, When you leave port, everything that you can consume leaves port with you, right? They have to put it on the ship before you sail out into the deep blue sea. Those are your only choices. Whatever they have packed on that ship is what you get. So point number 2 is starting off with what you leave port with is what you get. Obviously, that's true. Obviously, I wasn't wrong there. However, you do get to choose what cruise you go on. So with this being a concern of mine, when I was researching what would be a good first cruise for me, I had the idea of making sure that it was a cruise that stayed relatively close to land and had multiple port stops. So I didn't choose a transatlantic cruise where you're out to sea for 7 days with, no way of stopping at land. That wouldn't have been right for my first cruise. But picking a cruise that stays very close to land the entire time and has multiple port stops really alleviated my anxiety around this point. Also, rotational dining. So for Disney, apparently, because, never been on the ship, not gonna. Apparently you have what's called rotational dining. So there are 3 restaurants or dining rooms, and you rotate. You go to a different one each evening for dinner. Did you decide that? Or did they decide that? Pretty sure they decided that. So first off to say, I am not going on a Disney cruise, so rotational dining is not something that will be an issue on my Princess cruise. There's definitely a reason that I didn't pick Disney as my first cruise. This rotational dining is probably one of them. I just wasn't comfortable with that situation for my first cruise. So what I did do when I was researching all the cruise options is look at the dining. Was it a set dining time? How many dining options did they have? And that was a big reason why I selected Princess. The ship that I'm on is going to be the Discovery Princess, and they have 6 included dining options and 5 specialty options. So that is a total of 11 options for me to eat at. And they have something called Dine Your Way, which I can't explain too much, obviously, since I haven't been on it. But the basic idea is that you can choose kind of the old school dining option of like the early time or the late time, or you can eat anytime you want and you can make a reservation. You can also apparently just show up. And obviously you have, if there's a wait, then you have to wait. But it sounds like they very, very much treat it like restaurants. When you want to eat, you can eat. When you don't want to eat, you don't have to eat. I felt so much more comfortable with that option. It really led me to choosing the cruise that I did. I feel much more free to eat where I want, at what time I want. I can eat at the same places if I really like it. I can eat at all the options if I want to, but it feels very much like I'm in charge, and I really, really appreciated that. Also, I liked, and I'll have to report back when I am actually on the cruise, it sounds like I can get seats by myself, which is also another thing for solo cruisers. Is I'm not super keen on the idea of being sat at a large table with a bunch of people. You know me, I love talking to strangers. That's not the issue. It's more, again, kind of me being in control of that versus somebody making that choice for me. So I feel really, really good about my choice for Princess Cruises on this. I don't feel trapped in any way around the dining here. And my last point with trapping your freedom of choice is you don't get to choose to be single. What? Are you saying that they provide a mate for you? No. Nothing is, Handmaid's Tale is that. No. What I'm saying is that there are no single cruiser options. on Disney cruises. If you would like to cruise as a single person without a partner, you pay the price for 2 people. So the point of you're paying for 2 people even when you're by yourself is still 90% true. There are some cruise lines that have single cabins. There are cruise lines that offer single supplements that make it cheaper for you to cruise as a single person. I think that I need to do a lot more research on that to find out where the best deal is when cruising by yourself. I did not see that when I was researching my Alaska cruises. So yes, I did end up paying the fee for what you would consider 2 people. Now, again, I guess going back to my Las Vegas idea, when I book a room in Las Vegas, I book it for myself. But you can technically have up to 4 people in those rooms. So if I think about it the same way, then I've been doing that forever. I've been paying a double occupancy rate for almost every hotel I've ever been in. And this time, the food's included in that fare. So when I thought of it that way, I felt okay with it. Like I said, I would love to research those more single options, but for this cruise, I felt okay when I kind of did a little, mind shifting about it. Reason number 3. So, speaking of paying for things, cruises trap your wallet. You prepay for the cruise. I just told you if you're a single person, you're paying for 2 people, whether you like it or not. So might as well, find somebody at the airport, bring them along. Not me, I wouldn't go even if you paid for me, but somebody that might want to go. So you've prepaid for the cruise, and you've prepaid for the food. So not all the food, because of course, they still want more money. But you prepay for your meal packages. So that rotational dining I told you about, that's prepaid. That's included in your cruising price. I believe also that room service is included in your prepaid price. And I believe that there's some quick service restaurants that are included. I'm not sure all of it. I didn't look that far into it because it wasn't going to change my mind. But you have paid for something that you haven't even eaten yet. You haven't even seen yet. So the point where they trap your wallet is 100% correct. You are prepaying for your stateroom as well as all the included dining, all the included activities, all the included amenities. That's true. So this was a point where I wasn't wrong, but I did have to have a mind shift about it again. So again, going back to Las Vegas, I told you, I now think of cruising as Las Vegas, so just bear with me, you're going to hear it a lot. But in Las Vegas, when you pay for a room, you are also paying for the included access to the amenities. You're paying for the pool, you're paying for the casino, you're paying for the gym, you're paying for the outdoor areas, you're paying for all the things within the hotel that you are using that are included in that price. And yes, of course, there are extras. Of course, you have to pay more for the food if you're going to go to the restaurant. You have to pay more for the shopping if you're going to go to the shops. You have to pay more for the drinks if you're going to have a cocktail or 2. But that's normal. And it's something that I've done for years. So when I thought of it that way, I went, okay, I can do that. As well as, like I mentioned earlier, when I go to Vegas, I stay at the resort and I eat there and I drink there. So I always end up charging things to my room. And I was like, well, that's kind of the same thing, right? So either I charge things to the room as I go along, or it's kind of like charging things to the room up front. The most important thought here, though, is making sure that I'm going to get my values worth. So how I did that was researching, again, the cruise lines and the ships that I thought I was going to have the most variety and the most things that were going to interest me. So going back to all those food choices, the bar choices. Also, what I love about the Discovery Princess is there's a lot of live music, which I love. And it's not just in the forms of shows in the theaters. There is apparently about, I think, 4 places where live music is just happening. There's a jazz club. There's a pianist in the bar at the steakhouse. I can't think of it right now, but there's a couple other bands that just play in the lounges or the bars, which to me is a huge value. I can sit and listen to live music for hours. So I really felt when I booked the cruise that I did that I was going to get my values worth, and I felt absolutely okay paying that fee up front. So, on the Disney cruises, there are adults-only restaurants that you can choose to go to instead of your rotational dinner. It is an upcharge, though. So it's not as if they are like, oh, okay, so you don't want to go to the regular rotational dining. We'll make your reservation at the adults-only restaurant. Same price. No, it is an upcharge. I don't believe it's exactly the same amount that you would pay as if you were going to that restaurant by itself, because I do believe that they take the money that you've paid and it's just an upcharge on top of that. But I don't know, because you don't know how much the other dinner cost, because it was included, because they already got your money. So, you're paying extra. You're going to go to the adults only restaurant because of course you are. And then booze is extra. Yes, cocktails are extra. Beer is extra. Wine is extra. Extra, extra, extra. Take my money. So yes, on the Discovery Princess, there are specialty dining options which are an upcharge. However, in doing my research, they seemed like a very reasonable upcharge. And it wasn't a la carte. It wasn't like an upcharge for this entree and an upcharge for this appetizer. It was an upcharge to go to that restaurant, and then you could order off the menu. Does it still feel, I don't know what the word is. I don't want to say ridiculous, but does it still feel a little weird that you've already paid and now you're paying an extra fee? Yes. Would it be great to just have everything included? It would. I believe that there is a cruise line that does do that, though, where there are no upcharges at all, which is kind of cool. I'm going to look into that and see. Maybe if I like cruising, I'll do that one next. But back to this one, I felt okay with what the upcharge fee was, as well as with the cocktails. The cocktail prices are not what they are on land. The cocktail prices look, from what I've seen, look incredibly reasonable. So I was okay with that. And you can do cocktail packages. I'm not sure if I'm going to do that. I've already booked my cruise, but I have the option to add on the package if I want to. I'm not a big drinker, so I don't know that would be value for money for me. So I'm going to give it a little think and see. Another way they trap your wallet is going back to the point I made in the beginning about trapping everything on the boat. So before I go on Disney trips, or when I land from an airport and before I hit the hotel, I like to hit up the Target or the local grocery store and stock up on the things that I don't want to pay Disney for. Mostly water, some other amenities, sunscreens, things like that. On the cruise, there's no Target. So this point still rings very true with me. And after doing research on packing for a cruise, there are very specific things that you can and cannot bring on a cruise ship with you. I am definitely going to have to be very careful when I'm doing my packing to make sure that I'm not breaking any of those rules. My concern is that bringing water or tea or things that I normally like to bring myself into a hotel room might be on the restricted list. So I am definitely still nervous about this point. I don't like the idea of having to pay for water. When I was doing research, there was some video where this couple was on a cruise and they got the water package and it was like 6 water bottles, and that did not sit well with me. That's so wasteful. You know, the water in your sink should be filtered. You should be able to just drink the water out of the sink. Or water should just be included. So I am a little nervous about my point of, what you bring on the ship with you is what you have, because of all the rules and regulations around what you can bring. So we're gonna have to see how that one ends up.
Remember how I said that cruises trap your body? Well, if you were to pass away while you were on the cruise, or somebody else passes away, there's no place for your body to go. So it stays on the cruise ship.
So I still feel this way. I didn't have a complete change of personality. So obviously this is still a little iffy for me, but it goes back to the point of being very particular when I picked which cruise I want to go on. So going back to Alaska cruises stay very, very close to land. So if they need to remove someone from the ship, breathing or not breathing, they can do that. Lots of port stops, emergency stops if they need to. I just feel a whole lot better being so close to land. So, yeah.
Cruise ships trap your waste. So, going back to the beginning, everything leaves the port on a cruise ship. When you consume it, it stays on the ship. Do you get what I'm saying? So, your water waste, your shower waste, your other bathroom waste stays on the cruise ship with you.
So, yes, is this point still very valid? Absolutely. Does it go back to the last reason I just said of picking your cruise carefully to mitigate your anxiety? That's exactly what I did. And again, this cruise stays very close to land. If anything breaks, if anything needs to be looked at, they can head to port, fix it, and we'll be back on our way. So, yes, this is still a very real concern of mine, but I did my best to pick a cruise that I would feel comfortable with. And I did. I feel fine. So, yeah.
So that's how I feel about cruising. It's definitely not for me. It may be for you. You may love it, and that is great.
So those are my rebuttals to Past Marina on why I've booked a cruise and why I'm ready to give it a try. Am I still nervous about a lot of these things? Absolutely I am. I am nervous about any new thing that I try. But when I made this video last year, it sparked something inside of me. And I realized that I really didn't want fear or anxiety to keep me from something that I might love. So I started doing a lot of research, watching a lot of videos, and I picked a cruise for my very first cruise. I hope that I'm going to love it. I feel like I'm going to love it. I would love for you to come along with me. So if you liked this video and if you want to see my journey of booking the cruise, preparing for the cruise, going on the cruise, and then how I felt about it afterwards, please join me. Please subscribe. Also, if you would please like this video, it definitely helps with the algorithm to share it with other viewers. As well as, if I could ask a favor, please leave comments for your tips for cruising. I am brand new to this, obviously, and would love any help you guys would be willing to give me. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Bye.